Montreal Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to what will be and what is the final post-game show of the season for the Montreal Canadiens on the Curfew Boys podcast, live on YouTube and Twitter, also known as X. Myself, Sammy, with a very sad bunch of boys. Anthony's in the house, and my cousin Chris. Hey now.
Hey now.
I know.
The Montreal Canadiens lose to the Washington Capitals by a final score of 4-1, and thus puts an end to the series. 4-1 for the Washington Capitals. They move on to the second round to face the Carolina Hurricanes. Meanwhile, the rest of the hockey world waits to see which other teams will move forward. But sadly and unfortunately, it will not be us. It will not be the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you very much for tuning in to this final post-game show of the Montreal Canadiens, but not the final post-game show of the Curfew Boys this season. There will be quite a bit more to come because the Laval Rocket are in the playoffs, and they won their first game tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later on this evening. This episode of the Curfew Boys is brought to you and sponsored by HABS Cave. I can only imagine what Sunil must be feeling right now. But if we know him, like I think we know him, I'm more than certain he is proud. Give HABS Cave a follow on Instagram. You're going to love the content he posts. The best man cave for any Habs fan out there. Follow Habs Cave on Instagram. Les Délices Lafrenette. They have some of the best pastries that you can think of. Cakes, cannolis, you name it. They got it. Les Délices Lafrenette. So 6 locations in the Montreal area and the surrounding areas. Visit their website at lesdeliceslafrenette.com. They are simply delicious, simplement délicieux. Give them a follow on Instagram as well. And last but not least, Mike's Barbecue Rum. Excuse me. Sorry about that, Mike, if you're listening. It's my buddy Mike who makes his own homemade barbecue spices for either vegetables, fish, meat. He also uses those same spices to create his own brand, Mike's Barbecue Rub Chips, which is amazing to have as well, especially the warmer weather approaching. Barbecue season's on the way. Even though our Canadians won't be there, there's still much hockey playoffs to be watched. Give Mike a follow on Instagram, Mike's Barbecue Rub. And don't forget, folks, despite the loss, always rub your meat. Oh, my goodness. It's okay for us to believe. It was okay for us to really think they could have won this series in 7. It's okay for us to feel sad. It's okay for us to feel disappointed. It's really good for us to feel optimistic. It's really good to believe that there is light at the end of this rebuilding tunnel. I could only speak for myself. I can't really speak on behalf of Chris and Anthony and the rest of the Curfew Boys, but I'm very proud of this team. I'm very disappointed in losing, but at the end of the day, and at the end of this night, I am very proud of this team, a team that overachieved despite being so young, a team that overexceeded expectations. Just being in the mix wasn't enough for this team. This team was like, no, we're going to make the playoffs. So many things to talk about this team and so many accomplishments by most of the individual core young players of this team that we're going to get into. It just goes to show that they're a young and inexperienced team heading to a playoffs against a Washington Capitals team that is very experienced, this very fast team, very good skating team, and a bit of a big team too. And this is okay. It's really okay. There's lots of good things here, folks. There's lots of good things to be optimistic about. We got a couple of comments coming in already. And I love this one by our boy Elias. I'm not mad. I'm happy. This rebuild year was awesome. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Another comment by boy Roberto. Sad but proud. Bleu blanc rouge. Let's take it away, boys. Let's this is therapy now. Let's go. Let's have at it.
Look,
Show goes on.
The
look,
show goes on. I love it.
Yeah.
look. This is pretty much what I said the last episode, Sam.
Mhm.
After game 82, I came out and said, whatever happens, I don't care. Happy. And then when that hope came out, not only after game 3, seeing how they
Mhm.
came out game 1 with that fight
Mhm.
and I don't know, the character of life. These guys were
Resilience and
resilient.
pushback.
That's-
Pushback. There was lots of pushback too in game
you know,
one.
down 2-0 in game 1, tied the game, went to overtime. That was a winnable
Mhm.
game. So then it's like, okay, wow, I didn't expect this. All right, we lost, but it is what it is. But this is sick. Game 2, again, came out fucking strong. One of the best games I've seen. Again, stupidities from, again, I don't want to point the refs, but it is what it is. We'll speak facts. And then we lost another winnable game.
Mhm.
Then we go into game 3. What a hell of a game. Perfect game from beginning to end. Came out fucking strong, won the game. Now it's like, I don't want to feel this because I started this series saying we're losing 4 straight, maybe win a game and be proud. But now when you see those winnable games and we're right there,
Mhm.
then game 4, again, another good game from the team. And then I just think we would have won this series if it wasn't for game 4. To me, it ended the hit and carrier. That's where it
Yep.
ended. That's how I see. That's my perspective of all this. Its series
Yep.
ended right there. That doesn't happen. We're winning this series in 6, but we'll get to that later. So let's fast forward to tonight. I came into this game knowing we're gonna lose. Sorry
Mm.
to be that negative person, but again, the momentum ended at that moment. The team was just destroyed. Washington had the upper hand. They were coming home with winning a game that they shouldn't have won, and with that big hit. And history repeats itself. When you have that one big hit in a game that changes your momentum, it's done. It's over. And that's where they flipped the switch, and that's where they came out tonight. They didn't play a perfect game, but we didn't
No.
play a great game. We only woke up again in the third period, which was wrong for this team. Okay. The only bad game we had was tonight. Tonight was the
Yeah,
only
I think.
losable game. I keep saying winnable games. Game 1 winnable. Game 2 winnable. Game 3 was a win. Game 4 winnable. Game 5 was
Yeah.
our only game that I can say that we lost.
Mm.
So to answer your question, are you sad? Are you mad? Are you disappointed? I'm hurt only because out of 5 games, 3 were winnable, 1 was a win, 1 was a loss. And that kind of sucks. But
Yeah.
to conclude what I said before game 1, no matter the result of this series, I am fucking proud. The future is bright. And any
Yep.
fans out there talking shit, and I'm not in a mood of
Mm.
venting right now, but there is many. Okay, and those are those old. Okay, I'm gonna hold back because I'm very angry right now. But I'm reading a lot of bullshit
Don't do it.
on Facebook right now, and it's just
Don't.
shut.
Yeah. But Facebook. Yeah, I don't.
It's
Yeah,
just
but I
those
get it. Sorry.
like
Yeah.
fucking losers saying stupidity. Like, shut the fuck up. The fans that woke up after game 82 that just, oh, the Habs are in the playoffs. Let's be a fan. And then they woke up after
They got on
game
the
3.
bandwagon.
Oh, like fuck you. Like fuck you. Sorry. Chris, take
Okay,
over
it's
before
okay.
I lose my mind.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm
Let's give
proud.
Anthony. Let's
I'm
give Anthony
proud.
a break.
I'm proud. I'm happy. Go Habs, go. Future's bright. Go, Chris, please.
It's not to repeat what you guys said. It does hurt. It does hurt a lot right now, just because fiercely competitive person. I hate losing, and that's my team. So it's just
Here,
gonna take
Anthony. Let,
gonna
let the let the let the
yeah.
hate flow join the dark side. That's a funny
Uh,
comment.
so
Sorry, Chris.
no, it's all good. I mean, I could so easily cross that line and go to that side, but in all honesty, look, there are three things that I want to address. Number one, this team gave us and the league the best game of the season. Game 3 in Montreal, the best arena in the league. An
Mm-hmm.
absolute mosh pit sea of bleu blanc rouge outside the Bell Center to celebrate what was one incredible victory. What an amazing experience. Thank you, Habs, for that. Number two is, you know, the kids are going to be all right. You have Ivan Demidov, who's played a total of 7 games now, if you count the 2 regular season, and then he was tossed right into the chaos that was the NHL playoffs. They did so well. You look at a guy like Lane Hudson. How is it going to translate in the playoffs? Like today, he was the engine. If you look at all the
Mm-hmm.
players on the ice, I thought he was the one who was still flying forward, rushing
Yeah,
the puck, didn't want to give up,
he's
fierce,
he's
throwing
such a
hits.
spaz. He's such a
Yeah,
spaz, man.
he's like the kids, seriously. And you look at that power play line. You have
Oh my
Cole,
god. Oh my god.
you have Cole, you have Suzuki, you have Slav, you have Hudson, and you have Demidov. That's the future. There's still going to be a few growing pains. Sadly, there's likely going to be more seasons ending similarly to this before we truly reach the promised land. But the kids are all right. And I guess the last thing that I want to say is there were so many things watching this team with a critical eye. There were so many little elements that I think, and even two even better sets of eyes, those being Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes, were watching from
Mhm.
the sideline. I thought this was a great opportunity to really showcase what was missing and what they already have to start tackling and addressing in the offseason and the upcoming seasons to prep for that eventual win. So it hurts, but the kids are fantastic. We got some incredible entertainment out of it all, and we have some building points that we can address over the course of the offseason and upcoming year or so.
That power play, if Nick Suzuki scores that Ivan Demidov feed, that changes the game.
Too
That
close tonight.
changes
Changes the
that
game.
that changes that play. I was certain Suzuki had it. Suzuki scores that goal, that changes the entire dynamic of the game. It's just the way it happens. You're on the power play, you miss that opportunity. Slav gets a penalty because the stick breaks, to the best of my memory. I don't know. I thought that was a bit of a weak call, but I'm not going to blame the refs on that one. That face off win, Dvorak, his stick breaks, puck goes right to Ovechkin's other office off the face-off dot. Not even a brick wall would have been able to stop that Ovechkin shot, right? So that right there, 1-0, and I think you could tell the team kind of felt. I think the team felt deflated
More.
right away.
Well,
So there was that. The second goal, I mean, again, Jakub Dobeš, I'm not blaming him, is a lack of that experience in a little bit for playoff pressure. That's Churkrin, that's Caulfield's guy. Protection at the wing, like he lost sight of him until it was too late. I mean, the third goal, it's like he makes a beautiful save, loses his stick. It's just when everybody starts chasing around that puck, like forget it. He made Jakub Dobeš made big saves. I still think Sam Montembeault, if he doesn't get injured, is a series of different series, probably, but it is what it is. And I thought Jakub Dobeš handled himself pretty well, all things considered. A young rookie goaltender in the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where you miss one opportunity, the other team goes back to your end, they score on that opportunity.
Well,
That's how the cookie crumbles in hockey sometimes, man. But
we came
the
out
more,
strong.
yeah,
We came out strong with 11 shots to 1 in the first 7 minutes.
yeah, they had
You
a
said it,
strong
Sam.
start, man, big time.
Ovi's goal just demoralized the team because you come out strong, you have all those opportunities, and then they go take their second shot on net and it's a goal. It kind of hurts. Speaking of Dobej, look, not here to shit on anybody, but if I have to point fingers at one person, do not attack to all the fans watching or listening or on
Oh boy,
YouTube.
oh
But
boy,
if I'm gonna point
oh
fingers at
boy.
one person, but not fully, but a little bit on the defensive side of his game,
Hmm.
because I'll blame 3 important goals on this guy, and that's Cole Caulfield. Last game, that Dobej mistake that he didn't stop the puck. Yes, it was Dobej's inexperience that he should have froze that puck, but Caulfield was right there, just standing there, not doing anything. He
Yep.
should have done something to help Dobej if he made that mistake. So that was goal number 1. The second goal last game, Caulfield was on the ice, just standing there, lost. Again, on the defensive side, that's my perspective of what I saw. And then tonight, again, the goal, not Ovi's goal, but the second goal with the wraparound and everything. I'm not blaming Dobej, but Cole Caulfield, again, another defensive mistake. So
Well, yeah,
I'm not shitting on Cole because he was one of the best offensive players on the ice. But on the defensive play, you're a -3 in 3 crucial goals that were scored on us that changed the whole momentum of the game. If I have to point fingers at someone, he's the guy.
but the thing is that the 2 goals in game 4, like he's back checking. He's back checking. He's the first forward back checking. And again, like being defensive is not his strong suit, but he's doing the right thing. By that first goal, like everybody was confused because I think everybody thought Dobesh was going to freeze that puck.
Yeah.
So that no one to blame. If anything, that second goal, I think Caulfield could have had maybe a better man-on-man coverage on Jacob Churkrin. Churkrin, I can't pronounce his name properly. Sorry, my bad. You know what I mean? Like there's times where it's like you want to play man-on-man, but also as a winger, you don't want to be in the defenseman's face because if there's an opportunity to clear the puck and you're not there in time, forget it. The puck won't come out of your zone. So I get in terms of positioning where he is, but you can't lose sight of your guy. If you're gonna play man on man, you can't lose sight of your guy.
That's what I'm saying. If we have to point
That's
fingers at
what happened.
someone,
But it's not pointing fingers. It's just it's facts. This is what happened. This is the player that was involved. It's not pointing fingers at like it's your fault. It's like obviously I know you're not doing that, but I mean there's so many other factors too
100%.
before even looking at that play, right? It's you know again it's the lack of experience. When it comes down to it, it's the lack of playoff experience. We could say Suzuki and Cole, yes, they were, and let's add in Jake Evans. They were part of that Stanley Cup final run, but again, they didn't really experience a typical normal NHL playoff postseason. You know what I mean? Throw in on defense, throw in Caden Gooley. He's a rookie defenseman in the playoffs. Lane Hudson, obviously, but still showed the kid can do it in big moments. And even when games get a lot more physical, Arbor Jacki, put in game 3 and he changed kind of like the face of that game, right? But then amongst the forwards, Uri Slavkovsky, you got Ivan Demidov. You know what I mean? Like we just named like 5-6 guys right then and there. So it's tough. And the big thing is that we don't have a consistent second line. If we have a second line,
well, Kirby Doc, just having Kirby Doc in the series would have been
I would have loved.
changing.
Seriously, would have been. Thank you. I can't help but think that too.
Like there's, I'm sorry to say, but giving that task to both Newhook and Evans is overwhelming. I'm sorry to say,
Yep. No, it is.
And funny enough, well, it's not only is it overwhelming, it just takes them out of what they're supposed to be doing. If they're supposed to be contributing offensively, well, then it takes time away from them shutting down other lines. And
Mhm.
if you look at the Washington Capitals, like I hate to say it because they were fucking annoying to play against. Pardon my French, but it was really annoying to play against Radish, Duhem,
Dowd,
that
Nick Dowd,
Nick
Nick.
Dowd that we were bitching
My
about, the
God.
whole freaking like, they were difference makers. They absolutely pounded the defensemen. They
Hmm.
absolutely potted some super important goals. Like, I know Ovi had a whole bunch of points in this series, and we talk about the Tom Wilson hit and even the goal that he scored tonight. No, that fourth line that they had there was
Hmm.
super, super, super impactful for the
Yep.
first 4 games. And you know what? Like, I know that we have guys in the pipeline. I know that we have a second Jack guy who's, has some pretty cool offensive upside with him, but we don't have a fourth line. We truly lacked a bottom six. I know Kirby Doc would have been a huge addition to support the offense that Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and even Slav was bringing, but they role players like Evans and you're asking guys who are not offensive, super offensively gifted guys to fill in that gap and perform offensively. Like, it's not going to happen. Cole
I
Caulfield's
totally
not going
agree.
to start dropping people and start hitting people as much as we wanted to see physical hockey too. We can say that that's not their role. That's not
Nope.
how they got to the NHL. Their game is not going to change overnight. You can ask them to finish their checks, sure, but is it going to be as impactful as a guy who got to the NHL doing that? No, and that's why we say, like, it was such a great learning opportunity. Yeah, we do need a second line center. We do need extra offensive support and talent like a Kirby Doc who is injured. Maybe we need even more support than that. But then we also have to bolster the bottom six and maybe add some toughness and add some checking
Dude,
and some grit.
1,000%. That's exactly like I I like Yoel Armia, and I like the way he protects the puck. But imagine if we have a player who's not named Yoel Armia, protects the puck as well as he does, but is mean. And fucking when they do the dump and chase, they go after their defensemen and get in their faces a little bit. 1,000%, Chris. I really think that is in the pipeline. I really think guys like a Florian Jacki, even a Luke Tuck, both of them were physical tonight for Laval. You see that in their game a little bit. I think that's what was missing. Look at Ryan Leonard, young rookie, but he's a big kid. He's very energetic. Like he was in their face too a little bit. Connor McMichael, like he's a speedy kid. Like he's not afraid to get mean either. And I think that was at the end of the day, I think Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon, maybe this is a bit of an eye opener, or maybe they've known this all along, but now the proof is a bit in the pudding now that they got to visually see them in the playoffs. I think they know that bottom six needs to be big and mean because it's not gonna come from guys like Cole and Suzuki. And as much as we want Slav to be mean, a bit like a Brady Tkachuk, like he said, like, is that really his game? Is that part of his DNA? Maybe he'll develop that and maybe he could bring that aspect one day. But for now, it's what he's doing well is
Natural.
it's not natural. Exactly. He's protecting the puck well in the corners. He's still great at the forechecking, but he's not in your face mean with his size just yet. Maybe it'll come, but it's not natural, like Chris said. So that's the difference. That was one of the difference makers. And that's the experience that those guys that you mentioned for Washington, that's what they brought. That's what they bring. You know, we don't have that, like, aside from Arbor Jacki, who was I loved him in the lineup. Was he a mean difference maker? Not really, but that's okay. His minutes were restricted, and it's fine. But we're gonna need more than him. And I think that meanness, I think it could come from David Reinbacher. I think it could come from adding another veteran. I think it could come from Caden Gooley at some point too.
You need someone, and look. We're gonna. You can't hate. You can't hate when it's someone that you want on your team, and that's Tom Wilson. You can hate him all we fucking want, and
I
that's when you
know.
know he's doing his job right. He's a player.
Exactly.
He's a player you fucking hate but want on your team.
Oh,
right?
1,000%.
So Tom Wilson
1,000%.
was the one who made the difference in this whole series.
Yeah.
So,
And he gets another goal too tonight. Ugh.
but that's the thing. So to me, and we said this last episode, Sam, Washington Capitals did not play like a number one team.
Hmm.
If they play like this next round against Carolina, they're not going to the third round.
I don't think so either.
To me, what made them go to the next round was a player like Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson won this
If
series,
if
and
he
Tom.
intimidates, I think if he intimidates their guys, like if he disrupts guys like Aho and Sveshnikov and even Seth Jarvis too, if he gets in their faces a little bit, yeah, maybe,
So Thompson, their goalie, when I always said, you
yeah,
can have
dude,
the best team in front of you, but if your goalie is not hot, you're not going anywhere. This is their goalie right now. He's
yeah.
on a hot
He was in,
rampage.
yeah, he was in the zone, man. He really was in
And
the zone.
you said it before, Sam. I think this was going as 6 or 7 with Monty and Nets because we had both goalies being the best players in the first 2 games, the first 3 games were the 2 goalies,
Yeah,
and after the quote unquote injury from Thompson, and then he just came back miraculously after, he was even better. I don't know what happened to Monty. They still haven't disclosed what happened.
we're gonna find out soon, though.
We'll find
I
out
would,
Looks
soon,
like a
but
hamstring. Money down on a hamstring.
I don't, and
But
I
why don't you
and
say it? Why don't you say it? And why
mm,
did he fly to Washington tonight? You know what I mean? He wasn't in the building.
He must have. Well, I was just about to say he might have been back in the lineup as early as next game, potentially. You never know. And I think
yeah,
just out of precaution, you do not mention whatever the injury is because guys will target that. They will
it's
shoot
rare.
low.
Huh?
They'll
It's
exploit it.
it's very rare that they mention injuries in playoffs. Very very rare. Every team hides it, and I wouldn't be surprised if other guys are banged up. Like I'm sure Liney is injured, and I'm sure like even though he practiced
Anderson.
regular jersey, I wouldn't be surprised if Anderson is injured. I wouldn't be surprised if Gallagher's injured. I wouldn't be surprised like Carrier, like it's a miracle that he played tonight. But
But he
I
played
just
well.
wouldn't be Armia. I'm sure Armia is injured. I'm sure guys are banged up. Don't forget, boys, and everybody listening, this team played like it was the playoffs for the last how many games of the
Mhm.
season? Like
Since
10?
beginning of March.
I'd
10
go
to
more like 14,
more.
15.
You know what I mean? That like you're basically playing a shorter version of playoff style hockey where you're going balls to the wall and going all in just to clinch a spot. You know what I mean? Like they for sure got nicked up during that time here and there. For sure. There's they didn't have the opportunity to rest guys at the end of the season for like the final 2, 3, maybe even 4 games like we were hoping they would have been able to. Maybe that's a factor as well. It sucks to say, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to hearing the first of all the presser of Kent Hughes, maybe the presser of Marty. I'm curious to hear what the players have to say when they empty out their locker rooms. It's yeah, man. It's just this sucks, but it's weird. It's another
It's a
excuse
weird
my language.
feeling.
It's a bit of a mind fuck as well, right?
That's why, Simon. That's what I said before. The reason why we're feeling a bit, like the way we're feeling right now, it's because there was hope. We had hope. We came into this series not even close to even thinking we're gonna make it.
I'm
You know,
thinking of that. I'm thinking of that Ronin meme
Yeah.
or Hawkeye from the don't do that. Don't give me hope.
like to me,
uh,
we said it. To me, Washington. I thought we were coming into this series only beating Washington because they won their Stanley Cup when Ovi broke the record. Okay. So that was my mindset. We're coming in. If we win the series because we're gonna be playing better than because that, but it went past that. It went past that. The first 10 minutes of the first period was what the fuck? We're losing 4 straight. We're not scoring a goal. Right? Game one, first 10 minutes, we were nowhere. It was disgusting. It was like novice children playing against NHL players. Then second period, we just woke up and we played great
Yeah.
hockey. Yes, minor mistakes. It wasn't perfect, but they showed us and everybody out there they overachieved. Even in they overachieved this whole fucking season, and they surpassed expectations in the playoffs. So that's why we're feeling what we're feeling right now. Because if we would have lost 4 straight, I can guarantee you this episode would have been all right, guys. Yeah, we knew it. It is what it is. We lost. We knew this was gonna happen. We're proud. Like we wouldn't feel like look at us. Was 3. We look like we're gonna fucking cry, and at the same time we're happy. Like it's a fucking weird mind fucked feeling.
No, we
It's
don't.
I just I
And I
just
teared up
wish
at the end of the game, like especially at seeing
Uh,
Savard crying. But anyways,
oh my God. Yeah, dude. Tell me that was not reminiscent a little bit of like the players hugging Weber and Price
it was
at
exact
the end of
moment.
2020. It was the exact same fucking thing, man.
And you know what hurt me
Oh,
even more?
that sucked, man.
And you know
Yeah.
what hurt me even more? Sorry, Chris, I know you want to say something. Savard wasn't that much of a big effect to me because, yes, it was sad to see that, but he did win 2 Stanley Cups. To me, it was Gallagher.
Did he win 2 or did he win just 1? I think he won just 1.
He wasn't in both
Y-
Stanley
No,
Cups.
he was in the he was in the one that beat the Canadians. Not
Yeah,
he wasn't.
he wasn't on the one before.
No, I don't think. No, he was traded. He wasn't in the bubble win. He won 1. He won his cup. Yeah, it's
But
true.
anyways, he won a cup. To me, it
Yep.
was Gallagher's reaction because he had a hell of a fucking season. And
Yeah.
you know, like we all know it's coming to an end. His career's coming to an end, and it looks like he might not ever win a Stanley Cup, and it kind of hurts and sucks after everything, his blood, his sweat, his heart and soul that he put into this team. As much as to say Carey Price carried this team on his shoulders, which he fucking did, Gallagher was also that guy. He's
hmm
still the last man standing of the heart of this team from back then, right? Like there's nobody left from that era. Gallagher is still there, and
He's the only one. Oh, fuck. Well, you, it's really gonna hit. Like I know I know Price is done, but he's still under contract, so he still has that he's ours feeling. But when that contract is officially over and he's officially off the books, like you know what I mean? Like that to me is like, ugh. You know what I mean? Like until his contract is not over, he's still a Montreal Canadian, Carey Price. Even though he's not playing, he's still a Montreal Canadian to me. But he's 1 year left. After this, with the start of the next season, it's the last year of Carey Price's. When that's officially over, like then Gallagher would have 1 year left after that. After that, dude, it's done. That era of Montreal Canadiens that we grew up in our early 20s watching is done after.
But
Oh my God.
on the ice, Gallagher's the last man standing. So
Yeah.
I'm laughing because Big Pizza Pie's got a point. Gallagher, he got both his hands destroyed by Weber slap shots. Like Weber
Oh my God, it's
significantly
true.
contributed
Yeah.
to Gallagher's downfall. But all this to say, it's funny you should talk about Hart and like Gallagher dragging the team into the battle. I swear, again, I don't want to repeat what I said earlier, but I swear to you, watching the kid do what he was doing, I am calling it now. The new heart of the team is going to be Lane Hudson, and it's just the guy who, like, the way that you could see how pissed off he was, and how much he wanted it. Even at the
Yeah.
end, anytime he
He's
made any bad
he's a
plays,
gamer. He's a gamer.
he's gonna be the guy who's gonna drag the Canadians into the battle, not into a fighting match like Gallagher did. Like Gallagher dragged the guys in through physical battling. Like Lane wants it so bad that
Yep.
like I don't think you could look the guy in the eye and say like I'm trying hard enough. No, you're not. Like he's just gonna drag the guys in. I think emotionally to give it their all.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I think like we're talking about these kids learning lessons. Like I guarantee you, even physically, both Demidov and Hudson are going to be showing up to the
Yeah, they
broadside
have to.
practice. Ice physically changed. They're going to
They
build
have
some
to.
muscle mass.
They have
I
to.
would
They have
bet
to.
on it.
Yes. Yep.
Marty
Absolutely. They have
too.
to.
Marty had a
He's,
lot of lessons.
he's gonna build.
Lex Luthor over there, Spencer Carberry. I have a lot of respect for him. I shouldn't call him Lex Luthor because he was
he
actually
has
super classy.
he has a lot of respect for the Montreal Canadiens organization and the team. But like when you were like Marty too, I was like, Marty's gonna build muscle too with Demidov and
No.
Hudson.
Like all I'm saying is that there were so
Yeah.
many elements from the team. Like I just
Mhm.
wish it went on a little bit longer so that the lesson was a little bit longer. I think the outcome again was bound to happen. Still thought they were going to lose in the first round. I'm the only of the traitor curfew boys who picked Washington to win. Yeah, sorry, I wish I was wrong, but I just wish the lesson went on longer. But there were so many, whether it was Marty, whether it was Kent
Yeah.
and Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton, the youngest players. Um, there was a lot. Even Josh Anderson, like as a fan, how many times did we talk about trading away his contract? Like I'm at the point, especially it was a good reminder, it was a good smack in the face, and it was a good kind of
Yep.
mise en context, if I could use the French term, to kind of wake us up and say, no, Josh Anderson, as long as he can play like that, there's no way that we could afford to lose him.
Well, look what he brings in playoffs. Yeah, there's NHL regular season, 82 games. It's a long fucking season. And there's a couple of games where he's going to get away from that style of play he brings, but when it comes down to the playoffs, you're going to need a player like him. If he's not coming back, you better make damn sure you find a good replacement for him.
Chris, there's a lot of players that we all bitched and complained about that surprised us this season. Dvorak, Gallagher, Anderson, Monty, and Armia. Okay, and Savard. All these players we all wanted gone by deadline. All these players we would have traded with for a bag of pucks. Those players were all key ingredients of making to the playoffs. All of them.
Well, your veterans are so important. If
but
you know
not
what I
only
mean,
that,
like,
yes.
like the proof is in the pudding of how this team made the playoffs.
100%.
They need veterans. If it's not going to be, for argument's sake, if it's not going to be Dvorak, Anderson, Gallagher, it's got to be 2-3 other guys.
No, 100%. So, you know, like I said, Anderson had a hell of an end of season. You know, Gallagher had one of his best seasons. That's why it hurt the most to see the way he was. Like, if he had just one of his normal seasons, like the year before, the year after, second year before that, okay, whatever. But he had a hell of a fucking season this year, and I couldn't agree more. You know how I look at the little things, and you guys all laugh like Joey. I saw the same thing, Chris Hudson. He's like because Gallagher was a dirty, like not dirty, but a player who really used
Grinding player.
that grinding player. The guy who just went there. Hudson's not that guy.
He went in the dirty areas his whole career.
His whole career, right? So, but Hudson, I don't think he's that player of the grind, but he's a different heart and soul of the team, and I see that. I see like he's the guy who will be wearing.
He's gonna bring the energy. He's gonna bring the energy. He's gonna bring the energy and bring the momentum they need.
Way. He's gonna be the next Gallagher, but in a different way, not Gallagher way, right? But that being said,
the heart of the team in a different manner.
Exactly. The only negative thing I'll say about tonight's game, again, not to shit on this team because we're all proud and all, but it was an elimination game, and they didn't come out to play that kind of game.
They looked well, like I said.
But yes,
they did that Ovechkin goal deflated them, but they looked nervous after that.
But the thing is, there was no fighting, there was no hitting. Jack Guy, Anderson, there was no. Where was that Wilson and Anderson energy? That Jack Guy, I thought after Game 4, after those two hits, the Ovechkin hit and the Wilson hit on Carrier, tonight, any other team would have came out gloves dropping. Right?
No, not in the playoffs. No, it's different. It's different in the playoffs. You can't. If your goal is to go after players and not try to win an elimination game,
in a different way, not to fight.
Yeah, but you want.
They didn't come out scary.
I also think we're approaching it the wrong way because you're the Montreal Canadiens. You're down 3-1. You're the youngest playoff team to ever qualify for the playoffs, and you're going up against the greatest goal scorer in the game. You're going up against John Carlson, Tom Wilson. You're going up against a slew of players who have won a Stanley Cup, who have been there. Like, I think we have to look at it the reverse. Washington came in with confidence, and so many teams have trouble closing out series. I think
Yeah.
Washington, you have to kind of hats off to them. They came in, they said, "Boys, tonight we get it done."
Yeah.
They got the momentum on their side early on in the game. They stuck to a simple game plan. They weathered a little bit of a storm at the beginning of the game, and then it was all them. They just locked it in and then locked it down for the rest of the game.
But that's
I don't
yeah.
think it's as much on us even. I give them credit. I think they played their game plan to perfection.
Oh,
And that's going to
but that's
come. Like, we don't
but
have
that's
that playoff
experience.
experience.
That's experience. You know how many block shots they had this game? They have over 20. They have 26. 26
Go.
block shots. Sorry, 23. 23 versus 9. 23 block shots. Canadians were firing on all cylinders. They played. That's experience. They know how to. Dude, they're the best team in the East for a reason. And I know playoffs, anything could change, but they're still the best team in the East right now. And they knew exactly how to shut this shit down, like Chris said. You can't it's right now. It's not in the Canadiens' nature to come out guns blazing and start hitting. They still, I'll hit them too, but we just established that this team is not mean enough yet, especially coming from the bottom six. It wasn't going to happen this playoffs as much as we wanted to.
I guess maybe I'm saying it different. Like, look, Ottawa was facing elimination yesterday. New Jersey was facing elimination yesterday. They came out and scored 4 goals off the bat, right? Ottawa kept the lead all game. New Jersey choked, but that's what you do for an elimination game. You come out strong. But
there's so many. There's
Giroux.
2 teams. There's 2
Claude
teams in a
Giroux.
different. I know Ottawa is like a year or 2 ahead of a dude. They have Jacob Markstrom, an experienced goaltender. Ottawa has Linus Allmark, experienced goaltender. The reason why Ottawa won is because of Linus Allmark. They have David Perron, Stanley Cup champion, Claude Giroux, a respected veteran. It's New Jersey's a fast team, but it shows they're a young team too. And without their best player, Jack Hughes, they weren't going anywhere against Carolina.
We were missing a damn Sean Monahan. We were really missing a Sean. Like, you know how far a guy like that would have gone for us. They were talking about Sidney Crosby very briefly. I know everything has to be
Crosby is coming to Montreal. We're giving
no.
God. It's going crazy. They went nuts. We're not going there.
We're not going there. But I want to make a joke about that.
Face-off. A lot of the players that went to the Four Nations face-off and played with Crosby, they basically said, like, the demeanor and the level of calmness that he would have even when they were trailing, just like we.
Canadians don't have that right now.
We don't have that, and that's why, again, it would have been nicer for it to be a little bit more prolonged and to absorb that and take that in even more. But it'll come. It'll come.
You want to joke about something, Ant?
I spoke to someone this weekend, and he looks at me. He's like, "No one believes me. No one believes me, but Sidney Crosby is coming for 1 season. 1 season. Mark my words." I don't know why everybody's saying that.
Who is this guy? Expose him. Who is it?
Can't say his name, but there's a lot. I've been reading that a lot. Is there like something, like, I know that Crosby is Montreal's team, or he wants to come to Montreal, and
now that
it's because Mike Sullivan got fired and Kyle Dubas is going kind of rogue in a certain sense. So is it time for a rebuild? If there's a time for a rebuild,
hypothetically.
Trade.
Let's talk hypothetically.
You know
that era that
Malkin. I don't know if Malkin's a free agent. I'd have to double check that.
But you do know what we just said before, the era of the Montreal Canadiens. Gallagher's the last one standing. The same thing with Pittsburgh. They still have a bit of their core, but it's done. They cannot move on with the Crosbys and Malkins anymore. They're gonna go.
I'm gonna search that.
And I think that Crosby's like a Mario Lemieux. He's not.
Malkin has 1 year left. Sidney Crosby has 2.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
again,
Letang has 3. I'm looking more at those guys.
I
Fucking
think it's time for a refresh in Pittsburgh. They're not going to
yeah, of
build
course, of
with these
course.
guys. Now, is Crosby a type of guy like Lemieux who's going to finish off his career in Pittsburgh and never leave? Is he going to want to come to Montreal just to wear the jersey one season, help out the young kids, be that veteran on the ice, and then go back to Pittsburgh and then retire? Because no matter what, if he does leave Pittsburgh for one, he's going to, if he wants to try wearing a different
Oh,
jersey for what?
this is not going to happen. A second round pick for Crosby? No way now.
That's
I
very
wish.
generous of you, Big B.
If
Very
Kyle
generous.
if Kyle Dubas accepts a second round pick for Sidney Crosby, he's got 31 other teams knocking at his door or sending him fucking texts and phone calls. It's not going to happen.
But I see him coming to help the young kids give a push for the playoffs, like a maybe not this year, but the year after. Year 2, when we're probably more contending than like. Look, we made the playoffs this year. Next year, I feel like we're gonna. We said this on one episode. We're here now, right? Because we had a good season. We made the playoffs. We showed whatever. But next year, we're gonna go backwards a little bit, only because now our veterans might be gone, like the Savard, the Armia, the Vorak. I don't see them staying. I don't know if they're gonna stay, where they're going.
I don't think Dvorak and Armia are coming back.
But see, so
Yeah.
now you're losing Dvorak, you're losing Armia. You're not gonna get the same Gallagher, and you lost Savard. All those key players that we mentioned before that made them.
Okay, I want to talk about Savard's replacement. I really do, but go on. Sorry.
But now you're going next year, losing all these guys who brought you to the playoffs this year, and putting 4 young guys who have not experienced any of this shit yet. So yes, that's why I'm so happy that we got the playoff experience for Hudson and all these young players. But now you're putting 4 new guys coming in: Reinbacher, Mayu, who else?
What are they experiencing right now?
Playoffs in Laval. But yes, but it's a little different. You can't really Laval playoffs and HABS playoffs is NHL
It's still pros.
Still
I
pl-
get what you're saying. But if we think for a second that doesn't help or grow their development, we need to rethink this.
100% it's growing their development, and this is an
Just
amazing
sorry. Tampa Bay Lightning eliminated by the Florida Panthers. It happened many minutes ago, but yeah, Florida Panthers eliminated Tampa Bay in 4-1 series. That's
Wow.
insane. That's insane.
That's another end of an era. That's another end of an era, I think.
Dude, Tampa slowly. I mean, they're still a great team, still a great coach, but I think getting rid of Stamkos was the beginning of the end. You got to give Jake Gensel credit. He had a great season outside of Pittsburgh, but I think Chris, man, if Tampa Bay makes somebody like Victor Hedman available, my God. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting off track here a bit, but I really think the Canadiens are opening the door for, I think for David Reinbacher to replace David Savard.
100%.
And I like Logan Mailloux, I really do, but I think the goal this whole time was to make David Reinbacher pushing David Savard out the door. This question: do you think the Habs would send Hudson and Demidov to Laval for their playoff run? Hudson definitely not. Demidov, I question. Here, I'll post it up on the screen here. I'd be shocked. I don't think Hudson, as much as Hudson would say yes to it, I don't think that's going to happen. Demidov, I am uncertain. For sure, they could send Jakub Dobeš because he was what was the thing there at the trade deadline where you have to send not offer sheet, but you have to send guys down to the minors so they're qualified. Yeah, exactly. They did it for Dobeš and they did it for Owen Beck at the time, who was with the Canadiens, who got his first goal in the playoffs as a pro tonight, and in Laval's victory over Cleveland 3-2. David Reinbacher, I think, is going to make the team next year more and more.
No doubt about it. Every single time barring health, and I think he's going to be fine health
Yeah,
wise. Just
yeah,
I think he had some
same,
bad luck,
same.
just lined up one after the other, but
Yep.
he will seriously, I think, change the blue line. There's something that you mentioned. He's got a mean streak in him. He is such a
Dude,
respectful individual off the ice, but
I
he's
don't.
mean on the ice, and
Dude,
he's gonna
he looks.
change a lot.
This kid looks and sounds like he couldn't even hurt a fly. Yet he's taking guys that are like 5'9", 5'10", and he's literally like picking. Dude, he's like Thanos, takes them up by the throat and just he throws them up like this. I swear to God, I saw it live in front of me. Like somebody that like a player at 5'9", 5'10" slashed him in the back of the leg, and he literally all he did was like. He took it. The kid went flying. Anyways, it's I hope so. I really think he could bring that, and I think the Canadians had that sort of planned all along. Now, I get Anthony saying more of these rookies coming in, not that much NHL experience. I get it. That's something they're gonna have to evaluate. And I know the major consensus amongst Habs fans is go get a second line center, go get a second line center, go get a second line center. Okay. Laine and Doc, they got 1 year left. So it's their last chance to prove they want to be part of this team, this rebuild, blah, 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 blah. Something I thought of, and this is a question for everybody listening, and especially you two guys. I don't know what's going to happen with Laine. I don't know which line he's going to play on. But I had a thought. I still think. Oh, I like this. What Mick wrote. Hudson will play in the upcoming World Championships. 1,000%. Oh my God, Mick, atta boy, Mick. Way to point that out.
Yep.
You know who I hope? For sure, Slavkovsky's going. Slavkovsky has to go too, man. He fucking looked amazing last year when he played. If the Canadians get that second line center. I still think Michael Hage is going to be that player, but let's just speak hypothetical here. And this is why I can't wait for Cantu's press conference to kind of get a glimpse where he might go in the offseason. But if the Canadians do get that second line center, as I love Slavkovsky playing with Cole and Suzuki, but I get the feeling he could develop an insane chemistry with Ivan Demidov. So what if you were to put Demidov and Slavkovsky with this second line center, and to save Kirby Dach's career, why not put him on the wing with Nick and Cole? Because a couple of times he played with them, he actually looked pretty good. Yeah. A couple of times Dach was on the top line with Suzuki and Caulfield, and he looked pretty good. It's a hypothetical question. It's a hypothetical question. I don't think it'll ever happen. But what is that thought too far fetched?
No.
I think Doc, Suzuki, and Caulfield, they played a hell of a possession game together. They complemented each other extremely well. I really, really like that dynamic, even though it was one goal. I do like the dynamic that I see between Slavkovsky and Demidov.
Dude, yeah.
And yeah, I do think also too, either way, I think Slavkovsky can develop a hell of a chemistry with Kirby Dach. I also think he can put Demidov up on that first line potentially as early as next year. There's so many possibilities. I think the big thing that you're talking about, I'm going to say something that's possibly very unpopular with you in about a second. I think it's a question of getting a second line center who's going to eventually drop down to the third when a guy like Hage is maybe a little bit more advanced in his development. I also think after watching these playoffs, he skates hard as hell. He does influence the play, but I am also willing to part ways and use Alex Newhook as a trade piece if I have to. That's my opinion. That's tough fucking opinion.
I'm not totally opposed with that. I thought about that many times. And I again, it comes down to how Owen Beck comes in at training camp. It comes down to how Oliver Kapanen is going to come in at training camp. So Oliver Kapanen might be able to go down to Laval as well, actually.
Just
So
thinking
we'll
that.
see about that. Go
Breaking
ahead.
news. Eric Engels
Uh-oh.
just posted this.
Oh, shit. Let's go.
So Alex Carrier played through that. Now there's a picture of his fucking ankles bigger than my head right now. I don't know if I can show this. Do you see?
Oh,
Okay.
where is that? On
Wow.
Twitter?
Someone on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, I
Canadian
see it right
Habs
now.
fan.
Yeah.
So everyone was dealing with something. Brendan Gallagher played with a broken rib. Josh Anderson
Oh
had
my
multiple
God.
injuries since December. The Habs team had a lot of heart.
Wow.
I guess we'll get more information shortly. But just if you're telling me these three guys are playing, yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. I you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if there's again Patrick Laine. I wouldn't be surprised if his knee is as swollen as the size of my head
Yeah.
or your head. Who's got the bigger brain out of all the three of us?
Not me.
Oh,
Anyways, oh man, like yeah, so
picture.
Savard here. When list of injured Canadiens players finally gets revealed outside of the evident, Carrier, Gallagher, Savard, and Anderson, it'll be long. A better question would be who is not injured. That's Marco D'Amico's tweet. Oh my god, yeah, it's dude. Well, there you go. And Gordon Miller said this on TSN Radio. The healthiest team is usually the team that wins.
True.
And
Did you hear the statistic on the Washington Capitals? They were the only team not to have a single player go to the Four Nations face-off for any of the nations at all. They didn't have a single guy go.
Wow. No, I did not. I didn't. Well, Tom Wilson was the big debate. Tom Wilson was the big, like, how the heck is he not on the team?
Yep. But
And
nevertheless,
yeah,
Logan Thompson didn't go.
Logan Thompson,
Nobody
no.
went.
Logan Thompson, no. Jacob Chirkin, no. No. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Connor McMichael one day go somewhere for Canada. I saw him in the World Juniors. I always liked Connor McMichael in his junior days. I always knew he was going to be a very good player. He's going to be a very, very good player. Although I need someone to just fucking give him a nice open ice hit for that slow motion. He tried to fucking hit Cole because he missed his check. I remember that. Just someone to get back at him. Dude, everybody on Twitter, there's a lot. Dude, even Ottawa Senators fans are saying, Montreal, congratulations. You've had a very good season. You're going to be a dangerous team in the future. Like everybody, empty netters. I love that podcast. Them too. They're wishing the Montreal Canadiens like they're. This is a team that people know. People know that the Montreal Canadiens are heading in the right direction. Everybody in the hockey world knows, and we're not saying this because we're biased. It's true.
Mhm.
Everybody knows there's something good being done here, and we saw it this season. How many milestones did we see this season? Nick Suzuki, a milestone in points for the first time since 2008. Cole Caulfield, a milestone in points and in goals. Juraj Slafkovsky, a milestone in points and assists. Lane Hudson, a historic season as a rookie defenseman, undersized. What he did, breaking all those records. Jakub Dobeš, a shutout in his first ever NHL game. Ivan Demidov with the debut to remember. Aside Ryan Paling's
record, after breaking the rookie record in the KHL.
In the KHL, thank you. After what a debut he has at the Bell Center. Besides Ryan Paling's hat-trick debut, but this is Ivan Demidov we're talking about here. Like these are the core guys that are going to lead this team to the promised land one day. That are improving as it goes, and then you have the two rookies that are doing what they're doing. Like Demidov next year is still going to be a rookie. Like I cannot wait for him to be in the Calder race. Lane Hudson better win the fucking Calder trophy. Like NHL, if you don't do this to us, okay? No, like Lane Hudson better win that fucking Calder trophy. All right? Look what Laval, look, we're going to stay within the Montreal Canadiens organization. Look what the Laval Rocket have done. The best team in the AHL with a new coach and a shit more ton of rookies. There's so many things to feel encouraged about. There's so many things to be proud of. It's not the end. It's the end of the season, but it's not the end of what this team is going to become.
It's just the beginning.
It is just the beginning. It
That's
really
exactly what I
is.
posted on Instagram at the end of the game. This is just the beginning, guys.
Oh, I love it. The Curfew Boys, we put out a tweet too. Like there's so many reasons to feel proud. I can read it out here quick. There are many reasons to feel proud of this team. They overachieved and surpassed all expectations. The young core players are leading this rebuild. We saw milestones in Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, a historic rookie season by Hudson, and an Ivan Demidov debut to remember. The work ain't over, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Until next season, go Habs go. Like it's true. I cannot wait to see season 2 of this rebuild documentary. Like I think it's going to be amazing. Like I think it's going to be even better than season 1. But we can't
Season 3,
forget
they win
this.
the Stanley Cup.
Oh my God, can you imagine if they do? Holy fuck. One person we left on the tweet. We got to give Marty credit, though. I know there's lots of people out there who don't think he's the guy to do the job, and that's okay. But my goodness, when you go from being second last place December to a playoff team in March, beginning of April, like this completely switched it around and brought this team to some sort of winning ways here, with injuries to Laine, with injuries to Doc at one point, with injuries to Caden Gooley at one point, having to call up a goalie in the minors and switch Caden Primo for Jakub Dobeš.
Think of that. Jakub Dobeš at the beginning of the season, if you were to say Jakub Dobeš is going to be starting one of your playoff games, that's a
Never would
statement
have
that
thought that.
could be
Never
like
would
we
have
wouldn't
thought
be
that.
able to wrap our mind around that. Yeah.
Never would have been able to do that. The plan for this year was to be in the mix. Yeah, 1,000%. They surpassed that. Being in the mix is being where damn it, where the New York Rangers were. Who else was in the standings? The Rangers, the Islanders, the Red Wings. Did I miss any other team? Columbus. There you go. Thank you, Chris. That's where they were supposed to be. I don't know what else to say regarding this team. Again, there's lots of things we can speculate for where Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon need to go. I hope they make a splash at the draft. And when I say that, I don't mean splash. And we don't have to get into this tonight. We'll get into this in another episode. But like at the draft, I hope they acquire somebody via trade. If they could package something somewhere, somehow.
I think they will. I think they will. You said it before, Sam, that the Hughes, Gordon, and Marty and everybody is gonna go on the drawing board now. They have to evaluate everything they witnessed and experienced this year with what we saw, the potential, the experience these kids got, and with all the veterans that we just all mentioned that brought us to where we are. They're all gone potentially next year. This team is completely different next year. That's why I feel we're gonna take if there's no big moves with experienced players, we are gonna move backwards for a little bit, not craziness. I'm not saying we're gonna be last place next year, but like I think depending on what happens via July 1st and via draft, okay? If nothing happens, if this all stays status quo and the veterans start disappearing and all these youngsters come back, what we thought we would have seen this year of not making the playoffs by just a little bit is going to happen next year. Because remember, we said this year was the year that we were going to be a wild card team and not make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then next year we're making the playoffs. But because we made the playoffs this year, surprisingly, because of the heart and soul of these veterans, next year with the veterans being replaced by the young people, I think next year is the year that we're going to be cutting it close. And then the year after that is our playoff year. That's what
Friendly
I
wager.
feel. I could be wrong.
Friendly wager. Okay, and I think they lock it in. I think they pull more like an Ottawa Senators, where they're nicely placed in that seventh spot. I guarantee you, and I'm just
It depends
speaking.
what they do,
I'm
though.
speaking to. I'm speaking to the team's character. All of those young guys, all of those young guys, particularly the two best guys. Remember how we discussed Ivan Demidov landing, being jet lagged, practicing. Lane Hudson plays Ottawa, plays Toronto, two losses, comes back home. Who's one of the only guys on the ice? It's Arbor Jacki, Demidov, Hudson. I am telling you, this young nucleus, as Simona Jacki, we love Simona Jacki. Hi, hope you're doing well. But all that to say, remember what she said. These guys are pushing one another. That group, contrary, I've never had the sentiment before. I guarantee you, every single one of those young nucleus players, and you want to throw in Gooley into the mix, you want to throw Kirby Doc into the mix, you want to throw again both Jacki brothers into the mix. I guarantee you, those guys are going to be at it all fucking summer long. And when it comes time to play next year, I feel it in my bones.
I couldn't
I
agree
don't
with
think
you
it's going to
more.
no, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be dependent on the veterans. I'm saying they are going to carry that momentum into the season. I
But I
think they are
still
going to be more
think,
ready than ever.
but I still think management, after reviewing this season and in these playoffs of what we were missing, you're not. If you want to win, you need someone like Tom Wilson. You need someone like Savard in his prime. You
For the
need these guys.
playoffs. For the playoffs.
But
But
also,
those
I
could
think
even be
but
deadline
also, but
acquisitions.
also, also season, Chris. We were fighting. We were playing playoff hockey from February. You can't do that.
But that's what I'm saying.
no,
I don't think
it's
we are going
it's
to be playing. There's no Lane Hudson not playing on the first unit of the power play. How many more goals does Montreal have if Lane Hudson, who's not adapting to the NHL, and starts game one on power play one? How many more
yeah, of
goals
course.
and then how many more wins? How many more points? Do we get to rest guys? Like it's
And
going
them
to
not playing a
change the
full season.
dynamic
You're
so much.
listen. I don't think Patrick Line is going anywhere. But what if he starts on October 3rd, or October, whatever the date was, and he starts potting in goals on the power play like he did from on December 2nd, 3rd, whenever he came in? It's a
Yeah,
completely different season. It's a
yeah.
different season. That's what I think. But next year,
Man, I really became a
ne-
Joey. Fuck.
next
You
season,
guys are the
next
fucking optimist
dude,
anthemies, and I'm the fucking Joey.
Slavkovsky has to be better. Demidov has to show why he's the steal of the draft, and Lane Hudson's got to be better. And Lane Hudson was amazing this year. If those three happen, we're gonna do exactly like Chris said. I still believe in that veteran presence, somebody to keep them composed and in the line for 82 games because it's a long season. But I do think that's where it's going to come from. The success is coming from the young guys who have no choice but to progress. And I like this question here from Christian in the comments. I know it's too early, but do you guys think we should trade up in the draft or use the picks to get an NHL ready player? I think an NHL ready player is what they're going for.
I agree.
I think so. Is it going to be
That's the
is it
move
gonna,
that I
is
think that will make the biggest difference.
1,000%? I still think. Look, on defense right now, your veterans are going to be is the obvious Matheson and Carrier, and I think Gooley and Jacki, they're getting a little bit more experience too now. Finally, Matheson, I really think Marty has to find a way to kind of give him a bit of a role, a different role, kind of like what he did with Josh Anderson. Like you still give him 20 minutes a game, but now half of that responsibility is getting shared with a guy like Caden Gooley now. Like it's time for Gooley to step up his game and take that spot.
Sam, fuck that. It's enough. I would go a step further. It's
You're not gonna.
Gooley and
They're not gonna
Hudson.
trade him.
Gooley and
They're not
Hudson.
trading Matheson's not going anywhere until his contract starts.
I'm not talking about trading. I'm saying
Mhm.
the time that was used to play Matheson has to be accorded to two primary guys, and it's Gooley and Hudson. I'm not saying
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
necessarily have to be paired together, but those are the two
No,
go-to defensemen.
they got
I
to
am
play
sick and
22,
tired of seeing
23
Matheson.
minutes.
Exactly. I'm sick and tired of seeing like Matheson should not see more than 5 games where he's playing more than 20 minutes for the whole season next season. I
Well,
genuinely and wholeheartedly feel
I
that, and it's going to be time to start having that influx of younger players. Like I think the Gooley Carrier is a great would be a great pairing are Gooley Reinbacker. Reinbacker's already talking about playing with Hudson. I don't know if
Well,
you guys have heard
they
that.
look great. I saw them play together, and they look great together. You could Reinbacker can play 20 minutes plus a game. So can Gooley, so can Hudson, so can Matheson. You bring in those three together, I think can carry the load. You want to put in Carey in there as well, who could play 18, maybe 17 to 20 minutes a game. Sure, Arbor Jacka and maybe who and I don't know if Strubal's going to stick around. Who knows what's going to happen there? They're your 10 to 15 minute guys, but yeah. Matheson's going to need help on the back end to carry the load a little bit. And now it's time to give that to Gooley and Lane Hudson as well. 1,000%. We're going to wrap it up with basically Laval. I know we extended this one a little bit more, but look, Laval Rocket, they won game 1 out of a best of 5 against the Cleveland Monsters, which is Columbus's farm team. As long as they're in the playoffs, we're going to be doing post-game shows for them. All their games are available on LDS, which is good for us in the Montreal area. You know, a lot of those pieces are part of this future. And I think it's important for us to keep an eye on them, pay attention to them, because it is important. Jacob Fowler got his first start. It's his first win. And you know what? This team is looking great, man. If they continue playing the way they're doing, like Sean Farrell keeps scoring goals like a superstar, which is amazing and weird at the same time. But yeah, we're gonna be following this Laval Rocket team, and we're gonna be doing post game shows for them, and keep talking about how some of those guys on that team were they gonna be in the Montreal Canadiens lineup in the near future. So it sucks that it had to end this way, but I think tomorrow there still shines a bit of a brighter day in terms of if you want to think bigger picture. I don't want to get all philosophical on everybody. I know it's late and we're all tired, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Although I have the St. Louis Winnipeg game. Winnipeg up 3-2. That series is tied at 2. And I'm trying to think if there's any other series that were played, any other games that were played tonight. Doesn't seem that way. Yeah, Tampa Bay out.
I swear to God, if Dallas screws the bracket again, I hate Dallas. They can be the absolute crappiest team one year, and then they could provide some of the biggest upsets in another year. I don't know. I really, really, really don't see how they're beating
Yeah.
Colorado. My God.
Well, I'm going to be paying attention to that Ottawa-Toronto series
I really
even
hope
more
they
so
choke.
now.
Oh my God.
Oh
Can
my
we just say
God.
here?
Can
If
you
Toronto
imagine?
chokes,
Can
that
you
would be the 5th time in
imagine?
NHL history.
Can
5th
you
time in NHL
imagine?
history in 100 plus years.
Listen. I don't know what's going to happen in that series, but my God, oh my God, that's funny. Actually, the Washington Capitals, this is a respectable tweet. What a squad and what a series. You'll be back, Canadians, Montreal Canadiens. With
Nice.
a salute emoji. I'm telling
Is there a
you, people
cross-check my
know.
face emoji?
Fuck, there should be one. Spencer Carberry starts his presser congratulating David Savard for his brave career. That guy ate so many one-timers from OV. Shares a note on the Canadiens. To me, that wasn't the 4-1 series. They pushed us in every single one of those games. Yeah, there you go. People know, folks. People know. Habs head coach Marty St. Louis. It's a privilege for me to coach the Montreal Canadiens. And it's a privilege to have you as a coach, Marty. We're retweeting that right now. I'm all out of things to say, folks. I don't know. Ant, I know you want to go to bed ASAP.
The future is bright, boys. The future is fucking bright.
Go Habs
That's it.
Go and go Kent and Jeff. Let's go.
Look,
Guys, it's your time to shine.
2017 me couldn't eat or sleep for days after we got eliminated. 2021 me couldn't eat or sleep after days after we got eliminated. Which, yeah, we were close to Stanley Cup or
Rightfully
whatever.
so.
And now 2025 me is going to bed tonight with a smile on my face. Sucks, yes, because I felt we could have won this one, this series, not this game. I think this game wasn't winnable. But again, it hurts a little bit, but I have a smile on my face and I can't wait for October.
Oh my god. I already can't wait for October. I love that. I love that, Ant. Chris, any last words?
Let's go Rocket.
Let's go Sens.
Let's go Rocket. I can't believe you said that. But yes, I
No,
agree
no,
with you.
no. Just for
No,
round
no, I
one.
get
Whoa,
no, no,
just
no,
for
no,
round
no, no.
one.
I know. Hey, listen, I said this before. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So all right.
Just
Historical
for round
club.
one.
We're gonna be back with more playoff coverages from other teams because listen, there's still lots of hockey to watch and to cover, and especially coming from the Laval Rocket. We can't forget about our boys down in the minors or up north of the island of Montreal. That's it.
That's it.
Roberto, good night. Thanks for tuning in. To everybody who tuned in, Christian, Mick, Big Pizza Pie, Elias, I got whoever, if I'm forgetting anybody, I'm real sorry. Oh,
Mike.
shit.
Mick.
Oh, shit.
Pariso.
Mick too. Shit, I forgot. One last thing we're going to do, and then we'll call it quits. The questions and thoughts at the end of the game. Real quick here. Quite a bit. But Angie Mancini, the Bleu Blanc Rouge Heart, the future looks bright. Coffee House J, you think the NHL will come out with an apology for being wrong about their officiating crew and fire? Wow, and fire. Wow, yeah, okay, yeah. He has a
Don't
point.
think so.
That's not gonna happen. JJ underscore Fur 72. McTavish, Dobson, bring them on. Oh my god. If they do, we're winning the cup next year.
What? What's the question? I didn't hear.
McTavish and Dobson. Mason McTavish and Noah Dobson. Bring them on.
I just said McTavish. McTavish, and Noah Dobson. Absolutely.
McLovin? You used McLovin? One name? What a movie. Dawes underscore garage. Aside from this, it's been a hell of a ride. Hopefully they come back. Fantastic work, Dobesh. Yeah. Vithurson underscore B. I'm glad of the progress that the Habs have done, minus the blowout losses early in the season. There's still more work to do, and the future is bright. Habs will be contenders in no time. Go Habs, go. That's right. Just underscore Alaya. This series was so bullshit. Yeah, there wasn't. I just don't want to focus on the negativity and the refs. Like we're gonna focus on the positive, which we did almost all episode. Sorry, I can't pronounce this, but Ajet Zurdza, believe in a comeback. But if this is it, definitely proud of what this young team has done. Absolutely. Roberto of Flop Job. All right, who's gonna be the second line center? Also, who do next year's D pairings look like? Do we trade Matheson? Matheson will not get traded. It's his final year of his contract. Maybe. It depends where we are.
Some of us are hoping it happens.
It's not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And last but not least, Habs underscore Amanda. Lovely girl, lovely follower. Refs affecting the series. Yeah, I think we all know that. Even Stevie Wonder knows that. The refs know it too. But
Look,
that's
conspiracy me. You want me to say it?
Well, why not? Why not? Let's hear it, Ant.
If Washington goes to the finals and wins the cup, could be
Washington
they won't, but let's say they do. The conspiracy side of me, it was all aligned because 50-year anniversary, Ovechkin getting his record breaking. What a story this movie could be made, right? 50 years of the Washington Capitals, Ovechkin beating fucking Wayne Gretzky, and they win the fucking cup. If that happens, this was a fixed fucking playoff series. That's all I have to say. Job by.
You know why they're not going to the finals?
I'm getting tired.
Because they have no goddamn space on their jersey. I don't know where they would put that Stanley Cup final patch. They can't afford to go. They're the ugliest. Anyways.
Vaporwave. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for all the podcasts. He's a big Joey fan, by the way. Too bad he couldn't make it, but we know.
I became new Joey Vapor, so you're gonna start liking me soon. Joey's all fucking optimistic, all positive. I'm fucking.
You need to go move to South Korea then. Go live with him. No worry, your kids and wife will be fine, Anthony. You could do it. Anyways, listen, once again, thank you to everyone who tuned in for the final post-game show of the Montreal Canadiens this season. Yes, it sucks, but they will be back, and we will be back with more episodes during these playoffs, especially for the Laval Rocket. A big thank you to our sponsors, HABS Cave, Les Délices Lafrenière, Mike's Barbecue Rub. Give them a follow and a shout on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. All of our episodes are available audio formats on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. It's absolutely free and help us get ready for next season already. Even though it's not October, we cannot wait for the countdown officially begins, it seems. And Winnipeg just makes it 4-2 with 1:09 left in the second period. They will make a movie if Washington wins the cup. Roberto finds that funny. There you go. Okay, there you go, Anthony.
See, Roberto?
He agrees with you.
Perfect
I
movie.
am Sammy. He's Anthony, and he is Chris. This is it for the Habs Talk, boys. But we cannot wait for the final press conference of the season by Kent Hughes, Jeff Gordon, Marty, and the players. We will be back to talk about that.
We'll have an episode of the press conferences.
Absolutely, we will, and I'm looking forward to that. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, bye now.
I know.
Good night.